Hello all sentient beings and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk about all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode of Transmissions, Mech Fans Toys lets us look at their prototype G1 Blitzwing. We get to see what Transformers Earthrise Deluxe Arcee looks like in hand, and you can now pick up Hallmark's G1 Jazz Ornament. Today is Wednesday, July 15th, 2020, and this is episode 390 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that wasn't surprised when Starscream pardoned Swindle. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
The extraordinary Epic.
Hello.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey everybody, let's talk Transformers.
All right, and as always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you so much for continuing to support the show, and you guys are what keep us going. Stay tuned. We are making some changes to our Patreon tiers coming up next month, so we'll have some more information on that coming very soon. But yeah, it'll be coinciding with our 7-year anniversary of the Transmissions podcast, so look for that. And if you would like to become a Donatreon, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. You can also help out the show.
If you're at the Yoshi's bare minimum level, check Patreon. There was a survey we sent out, and we'd really like to get some input because that level is going to be affected the most if we make some of these changes. Yeah.
All right. And you can also help with the show by buying some merchandise from our TeePublic store. That is at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And you can also check out K-Girl's store at teepublic.com/user/superstark. We've got lots of cool shirt and mask designs and other merchandise you can buy with Transmissions logo, so check that out. We've also got the uncut version of Empire of Rust, episode 27. That is exclusive to our Donatrons. That is out in our feed on Monday, July 13th. So as this shows up, it should already be available for anyone who is a Donatron, either through Patreon or through the Dropbox link we give to our PayPal subscribers. So this is all the cutting room floor stuff that was put out of the latest Empire of Rust Transformers RPG episode. So Mike does a great job with those. You should check those out. And we've also got a very special thing. We just want to give a little bit of a tease because it's not here yet, but I know people are getting a little bit hyped for the Netflix show Transformers War For Cybertron Siege. It's there's a lot of marketing and stuff going out now. We're getting more buzz. And we might have been able to talk to one of the creators. So we had a chat with FJ DeSanto, the showrunner for Transformers War For Cybertron, and that will be out very soon. So there's an embargo, so we can't really put that out before the show is up, or just the week the show is up. So it's coming out July 30th. And that week, we will be able to put that interview up. So look for that. And we might also have our spoiler-free review of the show as well. So lots of good stuff coming up. We are excited about the Netflix show and hope you guys enjoy it and look forward to it. All right, so now let's talk about some toys.
All right, first up this week, we've got a new figure coming out from Mech Fans Toys. This is their MS-28 figure, Thunderbolt. And it's a Legends class scaled G1 Blitzwing. And a Blitzwing is always a really fun figure. These guys also did a Astro Train not too long ago. And, you need a partner figure. And Thunderbolt or Blitzwing is a perfect partner figure. And looking at these pictures, they have done a really good job on this guy. A great tank mode and a really shitty looking plane, but it's almost exactly like the G1 figure, which was a really crappy plane. So I think it looks pretty spot on. The robot mode is probably the best mode, which I think is probably the same as what the Astro Train looked like. But I really like it. I think it looks pretty top notch. Jeremy, what are your thoughts on Thunderbolt here?
I like it. I really like his sword. I like having it's kind of, not really serrated, but kind of like fish hooked, where it looks like if it goes in, it's going to be, ripping some stuff up on its way back out. So that's just a cool sword design. I really like the robot mode. Like you said, it looks great. The tank just looks excellent. I do wish it would come with like a bent turret, so you could have a cup, would have bent it. But I think it looks great, and the plane mode looks as crappy as Astro Train's plane mode should look. So,
Blitzwing.
Blitzwing. Sorry, I got Astro Train last week, and it's just on my brain.
All right. Well, Charles, Jeremy just revealed that he has got a really dark side when it comes to sword design. But from what I recall, is you've had a really strong feelings towards Blitzwing in the past, and that even though the movie figure was called Blitzwing, you still had to get it because it was called Blitzwing. Now this one isn't exactly called Blitzwing, but it is Blitzwing. Are you still drawn to this figure like you always are?
Like I always am. Okay. Sure. This is a good Blitzwing. I like Blitzwing in general. His plane mode does, it doesn't do a great job hiding the tank, I guess. But plane wings are supposed to be as thick as their body, right? That's how wings work on a plane, right?
Yeah.
But no, I think it looks good. I mean, it does look very much like the G1 figure, and it's nice. I am a fan of the Legends class figures, so that's cool. And the articulation does look good. He looks pretty posable in robot mode. So I think this is a good figure. I'm curious to see how it'll look painted up. With the hopefully it looks really good. And I like it. It's good.
Epic. This is the plane mode is a throwback to the G1, which was famously just it was a fun toy, wings? But it was just a thick plane which would never have flown in a million years. But it's just, I think that's part of the charm of how kind of crummy that the plane mode was. But you can see that essentially it's the worst of the three modes. Legends class scale is really starting to take off. They're tiny, they're fun, and they are super articulated. What are your thoughts on Thunderbolt or the Blitzwing here?
Yeah, I think he's a pretty sweet dude. I do, like you said, his robot mode definitely is his strong mode, and the tank looks great. And then you get this plane mode, which I don't know. I mean, it's always cute when they do nods to how like the G1 is and stuff, but I feel like they could have done better than a box with little tiny wings coming off and a skinny cone coming off of it. But what do I know? I don't design these things. But no, I do think he's pretty sweet, and tanks are just cooler than planes, jets anyways, so we'll be happy that he's got the sweet tank mode and robot mode. So yeah, he's pretty cool.
He is. I think I'll take a second topic here for just to move on. And this thing came out the day after our recording last week, and we really don't have much else to go on other than this like shadowy kind of image that Takara put out. But it's pretty obvious that it's a seeker, and they're talking about 15 years of Masterpiece, and talking maybe a new Starscream coming out for Masterpiece. And this is a G1 Seeker reveal. So G1 Starscream would be version 3, would be right there with Optimus on the third version. I don't know. I mean, do we want a third version? Do we need a third version? Personally, I think the current version is pretty good. It could definitely use a little bit of smoothing out. Maybe a third version is in the works, as long as the price isn't too nutso. Jeremy, Masterpiece Starscream, what are your thoughts?
I've liked all the ones that they've put out so far, but I don't own any of them. I will probably like this one, but I probably also won't own it. I mean, Starscream is one. We've got so many Starscreams. It'll look good regardless. I'm guessing they're going to go more animation accurate like they did with MP44. Right. So that'll be good for fans of the animation look. But again, I'm not a huge Masterpiece collector, so I'm probably not going to grab it.
Cool. All right, Epic. I know that you have been mainly concentrating on the Generations line and that kind of stuff, most of the things coming out. But Masterpiece has been around for, obviously, 15 years now. And the Seekers that they've put out have been pretty great. Kind of the first version was okay, had some issues, but it worked. The second version has been spot on. The G1 Seeker mold for Masterpiece is kind of iconic. You know that if you're going to get one, you're likely going to get like 6 eventually. So do you like Starscream enough to invest in at least one Masterpiece, or is it going to be one of those things that you're going to say, it's cool, but I've got to stay in my lane?
Yeah, it'll probably end up being one of those things where I think it's cool and I'm going to stay in my lane. Because, yeah, the whole War for Cybertron line and stuff really has satisfied a lot of my G1 needs and wants and stuff. I know it's not the same as a Masterpiece, and like they're usually just nicer in general, whatever, but Starscream just really isn't actually at the top of my list for characters I care about. So
careful who you tell that to.
I mean, he's cool, but I just find him a little annoying. Okay, so no, I don't know, it'd probably be one of those things to check it out, see what the price is, and then just probably not get it if it comes out.
All right. Well, Charles, you helped me get the last version of Starscream when it came out, because there was a run on it, and it was very difficult to attain. But you happened to find it for me, so I appreciate that. When this comes out, will you help me get it?
If I can, I will not buy it for you, but I will help you if you give me the money.
I mean, come on, you got that doctor money.
I also got the 3 kids' bills, so.
I can't help you with that.
I can't help but feel like why. I mean, I understand popular characters sell better, but 3 versions of Optimus Prime, 3 versions of Starscream, when we've got characters out there starving for the Masterpiece treatment. I mean, how often every year we do the poll for what Masterpiece figure should we come out, and people are begging for Jazz, and we still don't have a Jazz. And I know Jazz, there's limited remold or repaint ability with Jazz, but give us a Jazz before you do a 3rd and 4th version of a Seeker.
Yeah, that's how I feel about a lot of these. I mean, I know we got the popular characters and stuff, but it's kind of like, can we expand out to other characters that are still pretty popular, and they may not be the top ones, but let's think about them.
It's a good point. Leave it to Charles for bringing up logic here. Jazz does get probably the top vote every single year in our poll, and we do get a lot of responses to that. Jazz is also a figure that his alt mode would be tied up in copyright or kind of trademark court, so you'd have to have some issues there.
Well, I mean, they would have to license it, and that's not free.
Exactly. So one that also comes very close in our surveys every year is Galvatron, and that is not something you'd have to license, because what the hell does he become, a space cannon?
That space cannon is made by Lockheed Martin. You have to license that design from Lockheed Martin. Oh
shit. Okay. So I mean, I get that argument quite a bit. The weighing of priorities here on with Takara or Masterpiece is, we could make a Galvatron or any figure, insert character that has not been made into this column, or we could make a Starscream. Starscream is going to sell like nuts. Plus, there's how many repaint potential with him as well.
Yeah, you're essentially making like 6 toys at least.
Exactly. Plus, you've got the potential to turn them into cone heads. Plus, you've got all this. There's potential to go quite a ways with a Seeker mold, where you have Galvatron, and they've done it before. So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But what's Galvatron's repaint potential?
Yep. I mean, I understand.
Right?
I completely understand the business reasons and the argument behind that. I understand. I mean, and we did get RC. We did get what else did we get this year? Did we get Hound this year? Or was that last year? I don't remember. But
Hound is another one, right?
Yeah.
So these are all ones that you're going to see that very likely won't get money repaints into different characters. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You'll get into it like maybe you'll get a stealth RC, or you might get something with Hound into like a
Paradron Medic.
detritus.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
We'll get that eventually, but it's going to be one of those things like, they're not really, like, Detritus is not really a Transformers character. He was an eHobby exclusive, so, but he's like the only one for that mold. So, but they made it a Masterpiece Hound, so I got to give him credit. Like, that's going into that realm of figures that really don't have a lot of repaint potential. So
I bet they're going to wait until eventually they shift movie Masterpiece to be the 86 movie. I mean, we have a story later
on that way
about
right?
Studio Series, but they also have the movie Masterpiece line.
And I mean, we've already seen that there's been two announcements this year with movie Masterpiece Ratchet and movie Masterpiece Starscream coming out this year, or being announced this year. I don't know when they're coming out. So it's already moving that way. I'm with you that I want more G1 Masterpiece. I also see the potential that they need to actually have income coming in. A Starscream mold will bring in income.
Yeah, and also we had the Beast Wars masterpieces too. I forgot about those. Those are also, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Those characters don't have a lot of repaint potential either. So yeah, I see
Cheetor
where Cheetor. That's true. Okay, well, yeah. There you go.
So it's interesting. We don't really have any kind of solid confirmation, which is unfortunate, but that's the world we live in when it comes to Transformers kind of speculation. I think it's pretty on the nose that this is what's happening, but we won't know for sure until it's announced. Probably end up coming out tomorrow. But yeah, so that's all the topics that I had this week. Jeremy, what are you wanting to talk about?
Well, first, quick update. The Hallmark 2020 Ornament is out. It was just released, and it is G1 Jazz. So if you are into these and you're wanting to get it, you can either go to your local Hallmark store, call them, or go order it from Hallmark's website directly. Personally, I have it. My local store is going to ship it to me. They're like really on top of this. They called me a few weeks ago, and they're going to call me tomorrow to get my payment over the phone, and they're going to ship it. So that's really cool. I find that most Hallmark stores probably don't want a huge crowd in the stores for these ornaments. So it'll probably be easy to get it shipped to you in most places, probably not Canada. But anyway, this is just G1 Jazz, non-transforming, but I think it looks great. My real story, and I'm sure we all have something to say about this, is Walmart is going to have some Transformer reveals coming up on July 17th, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, for Walmart Collector Con. And I'm sure this is just going to go perfectly well, especially after the Back to the Future's Transformers toy. We have no idea what this is other than they say more reveals coming, and they have Star Wars, the Transformers War for Cybertron logo, Marvel Legends, and G.I. Joe. So, hey, G.I. Joe's getting a toy. How about that? But anyway, we'll find out later this week what the toys actually are, but I'm sure this will be another toy that scalpers will just get immediately. Epic, we haven't talked to you since the whole debacle. I'm assuming you did not get a Back to the Future's Gigawatt figure?
No, I did not, and I was so bummed. Tried to get on there, and they're just gone. I thought I heard that they will be maybe like re-releasing it sometime or something. Like,
that one will be on Hasbro Pulse and other websites in October.
Yeah. So that made me feel better, but I was bummed because I thought it'd be really cool to get one of the first runs of it. But yeah, these pretty excited to see what these reveals are that they're going to come out with. I'll be keeping an eye out, see what they're Maybe.
Any speculation what you think it'll be?
No, I can't. I have no idea.
Daryl, do you have any ideas? Earthrise figures, what do you think it could be?
Run Amok or Runabout, whatever the other one is.
Oh,
They
yeah,
could probably.
we know that's coming.
It's got to be coming because they have the other one. So the second half of that, the Autobot clones, because we know those are coming at some point. And I mean, these are all ones that we all kind of know are coming. But
How about an Alita?
We know she's in the show from the trailers.
yeah, they had one from a couple years back, but they haven't had a new one in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, yeah, that could be coming.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I know the one that came out a couple of years ago was an okay figure. It was based on the Starscream mold. It could have been better. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what could be coming. I'm curious as well. I know that there's the fandoms that they're teasing here: Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel Legends, and G.I. Joe are just like rabid for these things. So, I mean, if they're going to have something similar to the Back to the Future Gigawatt or whatever you want to call them, whatever happens with any kind of pre-orders or anything like that afterwards, if it's up on Walmart.com, then we're going to have a lot of really upset people because that was an absolute shit show that happened after the Back to the Future thing. So,
Charles, what do you think? Any of those ideas that Gerald brought up, you think it'll be?
Well, I think first they should call this. They should change this to Walmart Cons Collectors because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting. It looks like all the brands that they're teasing here are Hasbro. So this seems like it's a big, it's just a big Hasbro Walmart collaboration, which is probably why they did the Gigawatt exclusive figure at Walmart too. They've done some larger deal between Hasbro and Walmart to get all this stuff together.
This could be like some things that would have ended up at San Diego.
Yeah. I really hope that they taken the hint from the Gigawatt fiasco and are actually like putting something in place to make it easier for people to actually get the toys they want. If they're going to make this big event. But yeah, I don't really have any speculation as to what it could be I would maybe, since the show is going to be out in just a week and a half or so, maybe there'll be more Netflix versions of toys to coincide with the show. But yeah. I would like to see some more Earthrise stuff and maybe even a hint at what's coming after Earthrise if we're close enough to get those reveals. But I don't know. I mean, I'll watch. I mean, I don't really have any hope of trying to get something if it comes up, but I hope maybe everything that gets revealed will also be available on Hasbro Pulse, maybe at a later date or something. I don't know.
Hopefully. Part of me wants it to go well just because I would like to, have a chance to get whatever's announced. Part of me wants it just to be a whole nother shit show just so Walmart is blasted and just, because doing it so close to the Back to the Future one, they'd better have taken notes. But I'm willing to bet they didn't because they're Walmart and they don't care.
Walmart doesn't care.
Yeah,
they don't care. The stuff was sold. Their job is to sell shit, not to have all their customers super duper happy with them, right?
As long as someone buys it, they don't care. And
yeah.
But anyway, I guess we'll talk next week about what it was, and that's all I got this week. So, Epic, what do you have this week?
Alrighty, what I've got is some hands-ons of the Earthrise Arcee. She's looking pretty sweet. I'm really excited to get this figure and seeing the hands-on. I do think she looks pretty cool. I know we've already kind of seen her before and stuff, but now you get to see photos of her being transformed and in her different poses and things like that. So yeah, just some hands-on photos. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, Charles, is this something you would ever get?
I don't know. I think the vehicle mode looks a little bit plain to me. It looked like the wheels are completely covered by. I mean, I know this is really nitpicky, but the way the car just looks
she looks like she
really
has
weird.
outlets for her tire covers, wheel covers.
Yeah. And you can see the comparison to the previous RC. I think that RC looks actually a lot better in vehicle mode than this one. Even though I guess under if you turn them upside down, neither of them look great. It looks
right, yeah.
But her robot mode looks pretty good, and I think it's a good representation of her. But I do have the previous one, the Thrilling 30 one. That's about 5 years old now, so I don't feel as compelled to get this one. But it does look like a good RC.
Yeah.
Just the car mode is bothering me a little bit.
Jeremy, what do you think of her?
I think her robot mode looks great, but yeah, the car mode looks very plain. Seems like there should be more decals or just, I don't know, something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also, my problem with RCs in general have been, like, when you look at the underside of the car, it's just all robot. She's like
lazy.
The definition of a shell former.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's hard because her body is just so round. Most figures are very blocky, so it's easy to, hide them in the transformation. But her legs are round, her arms are round, and it's just, I don't know, they just shelled a car around her. And
right. I mean, because she's not like the other guys where she's got a bunch of like body panel stuff they can really work with.
One day they're going to figure out a way to make an RC that does have a better transformation. But just in terms of looking like the character, she looks fine. The car mode, get some repro labels, and I'm sure it'll look a lot better. So, I don't know. I mean, not the best one. Like Charles said, the Thrilling 31 was really good. Mm-hmm. I'm happy that we are getting more RCs now. She's pretty much a constant in every line, so that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Daryl, what about you? Are you for this RC?
I'm likely going to pick it up. I am very pro RC figure, so anytime that RC is going to get a figure, because I mean, listen, I was around when the 80s cartoon was coming out. Even though I was, all about the boys' toys, RC never had a toy, and my collection was never complete. So now that she's getting toys like consistently,
yeah.
I want the RC toys, because they're fun, and she's like an awesome character. So I kind of agree with the other guys that the Thrilling 30 version is still probably a better looking alt mode. It kind of looks like a shoe that she turns into. Transformers have suffered for a long time with being able to like just flip the car over or flip the jet over, and there's the face and there's the body, like just kind of stuck to the bottom of it. So I mean, RC is not the be all and end all that is going to be the poster child for this kind of transformation syndrome. It's one of those figures that they're working on, and they're she doesn't have the history that all these other guys have that you can kind of look at and say, look, they've fixed it, and why can't they do it with RC? Well, she's got like 5 figures, man. Like
and then
we're talking about Starscream.
It's kind of cool that they're doing like more RC figures and stuff, and that makes you wonder, like, if she sells well enough, will they maybe start doing some of the other girl characters like Alita or something like that? Exactly. And I mean, like you mentioned, Alita, she has had a figure and she'll get another one. She's there. They have a picture here with RC and the Chromia figure from Siege, or I guess this is the Netflix one. There's tons. They're doing female characters like crazy now. Yeah.
And this was something that was never done before. And I am all for this. Bring them on. They're great, and having them in the show is fantastic. And RC is just I'm all for bringing out these more characters because they're just awesome. Give the designers some time to kind of learn how to mess with the RC kind of body style, because it's a different body style. Like Jeremy was saying, it's Jeremy got a little carried away with how curvaceous she is. She's a different body type than the dude bots. Right. So
yep. Well, that was my topic for the day. Charles, what do you got for us?
All right, I have rumors. So we've got more information about these Studio Series deluxe figures that appear to be from the 86 movie line. So this is it's still very. I mean, maybe this is stuff that will be announced in the that said War for Cybertron. So I don't know, maybe not. But this is stuff we're getting these listings from Walmart that are having these curious names, and they're all Studio Series figures, but they don't appear to be from the live action movie. So the new ones we've got are a Studio Series Deluxe Cup, a Studio Series Jazz, which I guess that could be from the movie. So that could be just the Jazz from the live action movie. But didn't we already get a Jazz? But
yeah, we did.
And then a Studio Series Blur. So Cup and Blur definitely were not in any live action Transformers movie. They were only in the 86 movie. So that would be two more figures that are pointing to this 86 movie line. And then we got another listing that said, and this was surprising in a couple of areas. This is an 86 Leader, Slag, and Daniel. So first of all,
classic partnership.
Yes. Yes. All those scenes Daniel and Slag had in the 86 movie together. They were best friends. A couple of things. So Daniel, so if he's in the exosuit, that would be cool to get a little Daniel figure. But Slag as a Dinobot, the one thing that's surprising is he's been Slug for like the last 15 years because apparently Slag is a bad word in the UK, so they changed it to Slug. But now he's back to Slag again, which I'm fine with because I'm not in the UK, so Slag doesn't mean what it means in the UK to me, so I'm fine with it. But so this is just real. And does this mean we're getting more Dinobots in this line? So could we get all the Dinobots in this 86 movie line?
Except for Snarl.
Yeah. He's in a couple scenes. So Epic, I think you might not have been born for the 86 movie, but I think you've seen it since then.
I was not born for sure, but I have seen it twice.
Okay, that's good. So would you be interested in Studio Series figures based on the 86 movie? Yeah,
I would. I really like Cup and Blur and Slag and just the Dinobots in general, and so I do think it'd be really cool, depending on how they end up coming out and looking and stuff, but I do think those would be characters that I'd be interested in adding to my collection when they come out. And I would hope that maybe they do more Dinobots because they're some of my favorite dudes. Yeah, and I think the last Dinobots we got were from the Power of the Primes, which was right before the War for Cybertron series. And yeah, those had some issues. So I did pick up all those Dinobots just because I never got the G1 Dinobots as a kid, and I always liked the Dinobots. So having the opportunity to get all the Dinobots was
you just couldn't wait to combine them.
I will never combine them. Dinobots are not combiners. Dinosaurs not combiners. But yeah, so yeah, I would welcome new Dinobots. Daryl, what do you think of these rumors? Are you excited about this?
Oh, I think it's pretty cool. This obviously goes with the rumor of Grimlock that we talked about last week, I think. And how he's, seems to be paired up with Wheelie. So, if the Dinobots are coming out as leader class figures paired up with another smaller figure, then that's kind of cool. Could we possibly get a figure for, what's his name? Oh, his name just left my head. Spike's dad. Shit.
Sparkplug?
Sparkplug, yes. Wow.
He wasn't
in
the movie.
I can't believe I forgot that.
Yeah, he wasn't in the movie.
That's true.
It was Spike and Daniel.
So you got to think of all these little smaller characters that were in the movie. So you might get somebody paired up. But yeah, I look at these guys and I'm thinking Jazz has had a Studio Series figure, but could it be a movie Jazz? Yeah, it could, because there's been 8 Bumblebees. So it could be another movie Jazz. Blur definitely leans towards the 86 movie. So does Cup. I also think there's not as strong of a possibility, but there's, what if they just made movie versions of these characters and, slap their names on them? It's possible, I guess, but it would piss off a lot of people.
Well, that's essentially what they did when the live action movies came out. They just made a bunch of other characters in those movie lines that didn't appear on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
they put a lot of different characters in there. So
I think and this is more of a joke, but could be a slight caveat to the Dinobots coming out in the 86 line is that they have to combine, because there has to be a combiner for Devastator to fight against. So, and that they're going to combine, and you have to get Slash as well. So the newest Dinobot to combine with them. So that's, that would be the thing that they kind of throw in there, is that, yeah, we're gonna bring out these guys, but they combine, and there's a sixth one. Or they'd screw you over like with Devastator and make 8 of them. Yeah. And there's now 8 Dinobots, and there's
well, you gotta add Paddles.
Paddles.
Yeah.
Paddles needs a frickin' toy, man. Oh wow, that would be awesome. So cool. But yeah, no, it's fun. I'm looking forward to it when the first stuff starts to show up. It's going to be, it would be a cool thing to see 86 movie stuff in leader form.
I'm going to cross my fingers that maybe something gets announced with this Walmart CollectorCon thing, that maybe these listings are there. But we'll see. Jeremy, does an 86 movie line have you excited?
I'm very excited. I'm hoping that
you sound so excited.
I'm sorry. I was distracted. Just the thought about getting a Daniel figure just like throw me all off. But I'm curious as to the paint jobs on these, because the 86 movies animation was such a step up from the TV series. I'm hoping that these have a more dynamic paint job, especially, studio series, you're expecting it to have a better look just because the movies had such a different look. But with these, I'm looking forward to getting Dinobots. I'm hoping it's not just, the Combiner Wars repainted, and they actually put a lot of effort into it. Is that Jolt figure? That's going to be a movie, like a live action?
Yeah, Jolt was in the movie.
Jolt and Dino, and
yeah. Mm-hmm. Those were in Revenge of the Fallen, I believe. At least Jolt was the one that combined Prime and Jetfire at the end.
Okay, don't make me remember that. No, but a good.
You
Cup
brought it
figure.
up. I didn't even mention those guys.
Quit bringing facts into this. But I think a good Cup figure, I think, will be fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this a lot. Of course, with Walmart handling it, who knows how good the distribution will be.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is my topic, and that'll do it for our toy talk. So let's move on to trips to the store. This is where we show off all the awesome Transformers merchandise we got this week. We do this as a video, so you can see everything we got on YouTube in beautiful high definition. And we'll also have the audio right here in the show, so you can listen to the podcast and listen to us describe everything in loving detail. So without further ado, trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
I'll go first because I only have one thing. I got to my comic book store this week and I got Transformers Galaxies issue number 7. We reviewed this last week in Transmissions Alt Mode. This is Gauging the Truth Part 1. Check out our review from last week if you're curious. And it's an interesting story. It deals with cults and brainwashing, so I'm curious to see where it's going to go, how Gage, the main character, is going to get out of this and reunite with her friends Arcee and Greenlight. So check it out. All right, Jeremy, you'll go next. What do you got?
I just have a figure that I showed off inbox, and since I didn't have anything, I unboxed my Siege Ratchet.
Nice.
I haven't actually transformed him yet, but I really like his look, particularly his face. It's very animation accurate. I like all the accessories he came with that go more with his ambulance mode, but then this one thing is like a little wrench, and I think with Ratchet from Transformers Prime, I think having a wrench is very appropriate. But anyway, yeah, it's a little chunky figure, but looking forward to seeing the transformation and everything. But I didn't have Ironhide, so my first time with this mold. I like it.
Nice. All right, Daryl, what do you got?
I, too, got Transformers Galaxies number 7. This is the Alex Milne cover. And, yeah, it's a pretty cool cover and definitely showing off his newer style. Pick that up if you're looking for a cool comic cover. And this week, thanks to our good friend DJ Ronan, I was able to acquire a new figure. Not a big figure, but a new one. He helped me get Slitherfang.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's got
That's
the little
awesome.
blast effect there. And yeah, he very easily turns into a road. So it's not too difficult.
Much like mini snakes if you run over them.
Now you've got road.
As a road. So, and then I do have the other one here. Whatever the hell this guy's name was. Road guy. And you just snap them together nice and...
Sound barrier, was it? Sound barrier or something?
That's him. You got him. So Sound Barrier and Slitherfang hanging out together, being roads.
Nice.
Nice.
But that's it. That's all I got this week. Thanks to DJ Ronan, I got him, and still on the lookout for a couple other things, and you know, they're starting to make their way around here, so you never know. Little bits and pieces.
All right, Epic. We are gonna end it with you because I think you got a couple things to show off.
My sister-in-law came in from Portland, Oregon, and she brought with her my purchase of the San Diego Comic-Con BotBot pack. Me and her both went in on a purchase, and so she got a pack and I got one. We both collect these, so they're in here unopened. I didn't pretty glary, but I didn't get to them yet. And while she was here, we went ahead and opened up some Transformers, and it was her first time getting to like open and transform any. So we did Refractor, pretty cool, and then what do we got? Jetfire. Went ahead and opened this guy up.
Cool.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was her first time ever doing it, so watching her try to figure out those instructions was pretty amusing. But we opened a ton. We opened up also like Omega Supreme and all those guys. But then, while we were at it, we went ahead and I think last time I showed these in the bags, but we went ahead and built some of the cute dolls or something, I think is what their knockoff name's called. But we got Soundwave here and Devastator, and they're just super adorable, cute little guys. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. Spent the weekend just opening Transformers and building Lego dudes. But yeah, so that is what I've got for this week.
That's a pretty awesome way to spend the weekend.
Yes, it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
And is your sister-in-law going to keep up with buying Transformers like regular ones?
I don't know if she'll get into buying the Transformers. Maybe. I know like she likes Arcee and stuff, so maybe she'll pick that up. But BotBots for sure. We have a whole spreadsheet system, and we keep track of who's bought what and whose is whose. And like when she came here this weekend, I had 2 massive gallon bags to give her of all of her BotBots. So
Wow.
Wow.
Yep, we stay on top of it.
Yeah, that's
quite the system.
that's a slippery slope. I started buying a few BotBots and I thought I better stop because I know if you get too in deep,
Yep, they start coming out with those cute like game packs and stuff, and then that's when I just felt defeated because I was like, oh no, there's more gimmicks down the road then that are just gonna make me buy a bunch of unnecessary things.
Yeah, well, with how small they are, it obviously won't cost them a lot to make, so it's like they're printing money.
All right, very cool. So that is it for our trips to the store.
We now return to the Transmissions podcast.
All right, we're back from our trips to the store, and we will finish up the show with convention news.
All right, just one thing this week. Comic-Con at Home, we mentioned last week. It's going to be July 22nd through 26th, and they have a panel called How Do You Figure? A History of Comic-Con Exclusive Action Figures. And this has some Blake Schultz from Hollywood already did it. Justin Donaldson from Tournament of Nerds. I guess they're hosting the panel, and they have guests Randy Falk from NECA, Bill McKenna from Mattel, and Rocom from Hasbro. to discuss their time creating toys for Comic-Con and how it's changed over the years. So it seems like it'll be an interesting panel. This is Saturday, July 25th from 4 to 5 p.m. If you go to the Comic-Con website, comic-con.org, you can get the entire schedule and a link to where the YouTube video will be when it airs. So I think this will be very cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing this and some other panels. So that will be it for convention news this week. Although I will say, watch the Rooster Teeth panel. We'll talk more about that in alt mode.
All right, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Epic, thanks for joining us again, and where can we find your stuff online?
You can head on over to epicsuicide.com. That's EPYKsuicide.com, and there you'll find all of my social media links.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, we're still a little off, but I think Mike can still fix it.
You're a little off.
I said all right within the first minute, but there's another 6 or 7 seconds after that of silence on my track. Use that, Mike.
Mike's a master. He can do it. I have faith in him.
Yeah.
You wanted to mention the special thing we've got going.
I'd forgotten.
Charles and Jeremy have a special thing.
Oh.
Charles, what do you got?
I'm not next.
I'm sorry. That's me trying to do it without looking at the doc.
All right.
Well, he was the Volt is the hybrid electric car, so Jolt as the Autobot that could use the power of electricity to combine Optimus Prime and Jetfire.
Right. Best line in the movie.
Don't go back and watch Revenge of the Fallen.
I might have to. I don't believe you. This movie was written by advertising executives. I almost bought a Chevy Volt when I was buying my most recent car. My daughter hated it.
That was your deciding factor?
Well, she was like livid about the car. Like she was really against it. My wife was not super fond of it either, but my daughter, she's like, I can't hear it. I don't like it.
Yeah, that is weird.
That's the point. That's a bonus. That's a plus. She's like, I need to be able to hear it.
Okay, Epic, you're gonna go last. You got the biggest haul.
Ooh, holding down the anchor spot
2 times in a row.
Give me 1 second. I just have to go yell at my wife. That's how you keep a marriage strong.
He means she's gonna yell at him.